Hello, race fans, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the season opening event of the Elite Racing League's Old Testament Firearms Truck Series here from the Virtual World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, the Memory Lanes 250. I'm Zach Evans, joined in the booth, as it were, by the defending and reigning JoinAPS.com Cup Series champion here in Elite, Gerald Campbell. And Gerald, I know how exciting Daytona can be for all of us as we wrap up Speed Weeks for Elite. What are you looking forward to tonight?
To be honest with you, this is going to be exciting. A lot of these drivers were in the last two races that Elite's had. The Truck Series here has got a little bit of kind of backwards mentality than what Cup does, which is the trucks actually run after the initial races with the Cups and the B cars. So most of these drivers have already had experience out at Daytona, running in both the new Cup Series and then the Xfinity. So a lot of them are coming in tonight with a lot of hopes and dreams. Some of them feel like they've got it owed to them. Some of them want to continue a hot streak. And tonight we're going to see who can put it on the line. This is the last chance. If you want a Daytona trophy, you're going to have to do it tonight. So we're gonna see some hot temperatures. We're going to see some hard racing. These trucks, in my opinion, produce some of the best races at Daytona. You're going to see a lot of three-wide racing, and it's just going to be exciting to see how these races end up. We got two stages and a final finale, so we're going to see who's going to be able to go out and score some points, who's going to play it safe, and ultimately who's going to come home with a checker flag tonight.
Definitely. You mentioned, of course, so many of these names we recognize from the Elite Cup Series, the Elite SMRA Productions Grand National Series. It runs on Monday nights here on the Elite Racing Network. Speaking of, right now, second fastest in this final practice session with about 5 minutes ago is Tyler Fody, who won the season opener for the Grand National Series last Monday. But the funny thing is, with the Truck Series, this is also, just like in the real world, the Truck Series, kind of that stepping stone into Elite. So there's a lot of names here of guys who are, frankly, making their first Elite Series start, guys that we're going to have to learn about. And that really makes this Truck Series really interesting, as we're going to get to know some of these new guys here tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you and I will have to learn their names. I'm sure a couple of them will have to remind us how to pronounce them, but we're going to try our best tonight. What's great about Daytona, what brings so much excitement, is because essentially everyone is tied. Everyone's coming in with all their hopes, all their dreams, aspirations of victory and glory. No one's had their heart broken just yet. No one's ahead of anyone. So that's what coming to the start of the season and coming to a race like this where anybody can win. A new guy, a defending champion. Tyler Fody, a champion in the trucks. We got two Truck Series champions in tonight's race with Tyler Fody and Chad Frankenfield. Both of them can't run for the points, but they've just come out here to be spoilers and try to take home a trophy. So that's just the great thing about the Daytona field is it's an even playing field. So we're gonna obviously see some very strong veterans that are going to try to lead and pace the field. And you're going to see some of those new guys that are going to try to, make a name for themselves. There's a lot of people in here that are brand new with Elite. So the best way for them to try to go out and be remembered is to beat some of those veterans. So, we got a interesting qualifying should be starting here soon. So once the practice is over here and these guys learned as much as they can, we're going to see how they line up for tonight's race, but there are going to be a lot of factors that we're going to have to pay attention to tonight.
You mentioned also those stages, this being one of the full distance races for the Truck Series, but all of the races this season in the Truck Series will have these stages with the cautions. They also have the tire limits, very similar to what we see in the real life NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. 4 sets of tires for these competitors tonight. Certainly from our experience racing earlier in the week, I'd have to believe tires won't be a huge premium either way for tonight. But it is something to keep in mind for sure. But more importantly, with those stages, is how they play into the championship as we move throughout this 12 race season, and we'll talk about that more as the evening progresses. How important is it, even as early as Daytona, to put yourself in position to get some of those stage points?
I mean, this is tough. I mean, you're in a normal NASCAR season, you've got, a lot of people take Daytona as oh well, if you don't get wrecked out on lap one, you don't score any points, it's not a big deal. You got plenty of races to come back from. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. We've got 8 races before the chase starts. There's 40 cars in this field. That's a lot of people trying to go for a very limited amount of spots there for the chase. So, with 8 races, you've got to score the points now if you want it. You can't. You don't want to leave here and go, what if? What if I race a little bit harder? What if I went for those stages instead of just riding around in the back? It's going to be one of those things with 8 races is, you got to go. There's no holding back. We're going to see people trying to get those stages. It might cool off after the stages end. We got a 60-lap run because we're going to have stages at lap 20, lap 40, and then there's a final 60-lap run to the end. So the first 40 laps are not going to be something that you're going to want to sleep on or want to tune in into the end. You're going to want to see them trying to go for these stages because there is 10 bonus points for the winner, but also a crucial stage or a championship point that if they do end up going into the final 3 races, they get that little extra point to help them. And again, very tough to do.
Just to provide some context, last season, I actually made the the playoff for this truck series, and it was literally a tie for the final spot. That's how important every point over the course of these first 8 races of the regular season can be. As we get closer to the end of this practice session, we will be qualifying shortly. It'll be a 5-minute practice session where every driver will get the track to themselves to log their 2 qualifying laps. We'll find out shortly how we will line up for the Memory Lanes 250. Of course, want to take this opportunity to thank Memory Lanes Bowling for their support of this final race of Elite Speed Weeks. Memory Lanes is in the heart of Athens, Wisconsin, a historic building with modern-day touch, a place where young and old come together. Its character built around owner and operator Randy Walters. We definitely want to thank everyone at Memory Lanes for their support of the Elite Racing League in tonight's event. As we said, qualifying underway here. Each driver getting their chance all alone to see what lap they can set here at Daytona International Speedway. We'll see if I can maybe take a peek at some. I hear engines, so I'm hoping I'll be able to take a peek, but I'll be honest, I've got my rookie stripe on for broadcasting, so I make no promises here. So far, not so good, not going to lie.
Well, there's not much to watch. They're going out by themselves. It's pretty much full throttle, as what some say my grandmother could race. But go figure, it's usually the same guys getting the poles. If I had to make a guess as to who's going to get the poles between 3 drivers, just from the previous Daytona qualifyings that we've had earlier in this week, big name probably is going to be up there. Is more likely. Obviously, Josh Robin in the 8. He's always a really good contender. He's won a few poles in the Daytona 500. And we've also got Scott Crump. Scott Crump is going to probably be a very strong contender for the pole here. And, of course, Fody. Fody's always going to be a strong contender as a champion. But it's going to be, it's pretty much hold it wide open, but again, those same guys, same drivers always end up starting up front, so there's got to be something that they know that others don't. So even though you won't see it, we'll still see who gets to start up here. Luckily, everyone that's in the field right now will be starting the race. One guy did get sent home earlier in a previous qualifying that determined the go or go home. One car did go home, so all the drivers you see here now will be starting tonight's race.
Very interesting you point that out. Somewhere close to 60 entries for this Elite Truck Series, sponsored by Old Testament Firearms. Only 43 starting tonight. Not all of them were able to show up tonight to at least try their hand for this field, but certainly we'll see plenty of names over the course of this season as we start to see some of those first laps getting logged. Even the first lap, you can't read but only so much into it. Most guys are going to really show their hand on that second lap. But currently, Scott Haney in the 3 truck, the quickest thus far in qualifying. We'll see some more names pop up. I'm sure you'll even see some of these fast guys even just sit out this qualifying session and elect to start at the rear as well. For you, Gerald, do you like being up front and trying to lead the charge at these super speedways, or do you like to try and lay back and let the pack thin itself out, so to speak?
Well, they call me aggressive soup for a reason. I'm aggressive. I like to go hard. That's just how I always do it. I've tried playing the waiting game in the back, and that's just too much stress for my heart. I can't do that. I just want to go up front and just try to lead it. It's easier to avoid the wreck when you're in front of it. That's my idea. But everyone comes into this with their own ideas on how to, how to go about doing it. So you're going to see a lot of different strategies. You're going to see some of those guys staying in the back that feel like, maybe they'll wait for a few cautions, few pile-ups, and then you got the ones that, like Fody and Chad, they got nothing to lose. What do they got to have except for a torn-up race car? That's nothing for them. They'll go out and try to get it, I'm sure. But me personally, try to get qualified up front, try to lead the whole thing is my strategy usually when I come into these things. But then again, my speed weeks didn't go over so well. So I think that's why I'm sitting in the booth here, because I think my budget is gone over with torn up race cars. And I think everyone in the field probably thanks me for being in the broadcast booth rather than on the racetrack tonight.
Well, as you did mention Josh Robin, one of those names to watch. He has moved to the top of the board with a 52.283 second lap time here at Daytona in qualifying. Only about 25 seconds left for guys to log those laps, but looking good so far for that 8 truck.
Yeah, for being one of my drivers, he doesn't tell me how to get around here because he always seems to beat me in qualifying. So just because he drives for me doesn't necessarily mean that he tells us exactly how he goes around here. But it doesn't surprise me. Robin up there. Scott Haney did a heck of a job in second place right there. Scott Haney is one of those guys that always seems to surprise you when he runs these amazing hot laps, but it's not unheard of for him. I've seen him do it a few times, so it's good to see him get a good start for the beginning of the season. So maybe he can try to use that to leap his way up through the points tonight and hopefully stay above all the crashes.
And that should bring us to our starting grid here, as we'll take a quick look at how they line up for tonight's Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona, the first round of the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. On the pole, Josh Robin, to his outside, Scott Haney, Hunter Smith third, Tyler Fody, the pole sitter from the Home Place Beer Company Daytona 500 in fourth, followed by Dustin Doerr, Ryan Schold, Ethan Burrell, and Zishan Dura. Behind them, Michael Hossett, Kendall Noah Player, a former 500 winner, Daniel Martinez, Dylan Jones, Scott Crump, Trey Holmes, Kyle Walgren, and Jared Rexing. Starting 17th, William Harrington, Brody Moore 18th, Sam Boutwell 19th, Rich Kozla 20th, I can read, Tyler Dixon 21st, Ryan Barbieri 22nd, Wyatt Nadel 23rd, Thomas Sherman in 24th. 25th, of course, Chad Frankenfield, Michael Goodman 26th, James Sauls 27th, Cody McCorkle 28th, Alec Balvins 29th, Chad Thernquist P30, Mark Keeler 31st, Harrison Talon 32nd. 33rd, Shane Terrian, 34th, Tom Bourne, 35th, Caleb Thompson. As you see, these names all not showing with a time. They are electing to start at the rear. Again, those strategies we've talked about: Brent Jones, Bronson Stafford, Brandon Key, Benjamin Ruprecht, Hunter Firestone, and then rounding out the field, Josh Hedges and Tyler Baker. So that is how they will line up for tonight's 100 laps, 250 miles of racing here at Daytona, as you see the pace vehicle rolling off. And here's where it's a new season, especially for some of these newcomers to the truck series. It's their first time in Elite. The butterflies have to be just through the roof right now.
Yeah, this is where you decide if you're gonna make or break your season. Essentially, very first race. You know, you got a very difficult time to decide now. You don't have very long. You pretty much go from the pace speed coming off pit road to coming around to take the green. So if you're gonna go to the back, you need to make that decision real quick because if not, it's going to go 3 wide here very quickly, and you don't want to be put in the middle or put yourself in a situation early on. So, yeah, a lot of these guys here are up at the front. I'm gonna have a strong feeling that they're gonna probably try to stay up front and try to get those stage points. The ones that you see drop down to the back are probably gonna just wait it out for the first big pileup. So hopefully we won't see one that early, and we get to see some strong racing.
We certainly hope so. Hope for a strong start to the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. Old Testament Firearms, they pledge to honor God in the provision of quality firearms, accessories, and all at the best value possible with customer service that goes beyond expectations. Thank you to Old Testament Firearms for their support of Elite Racing League and the Truck Series as we are getting ready to get underway in just a few seconds. You guys see that iRacing pace truck take the hard left turn down pit road, and we're going to be ready to officially kick off the 2021B season in the trucks. There goes the pace vehicle. We wait, and there they go. The green flag is out. We are racing here at Daytona.
Yeah, so as we can see, Robin's got himself a good little push on the back, or on the front straightaway here. He's got the 03 of Hunter Smith right behind him. So, Scott Haney's got a nice little push from behind. He's hoping to at least side draft where he can get Robin down the back straightaway. But 2x2 all the way back, so no 3 wide just yet. But we'll probably see something here very shortly.
I love this shot right here, looking down the backstretch, and you can see, I mean, you'll see, especially as we get later into this race, how much these trucks dart around down the super stretch at Daytona. Scott Haney now positions himself in front of the pack in that number 3 home place beer machine, but leading that outside line, don't count out Mr. Fody by any stretch of the imagination.
And Scott Haney leads the very first lap for the beginning of the season here. So Fody's right on the outside, just as we expected him to go on strong, try to get up front and try to lead and pace the field. But right now we got Scott Haney and Fody side by side, just inches away from each other. It's so crazy watching it. It doesn't feel like it's that close when you're in the car, but when you're seeing it from an outside view like this, it is kind of nerve-wracking as Fody gets a nice shove to get him up to the front. So right now everyone's playing nicely. They're all trying to just push the next one up front and clear to the inside. It's when the driver on the outside decides to stay on the outside that makes a lot of people nervous. So right now everyone's kind of playing nice, and Fody's going to come around to lead the very second lap here.
You mentioned that shove coming from Ryan Schold, one of the names that is admittedly one of the newer ones to us here in Elite. Now here he comes. He's getting the shove from, I believe that is Scott Crump in the 90, trying to get the 06 of Ryan Schold out to the front. I'm telling you, it's not going to take long for some of these guys to make a quick first impression.
No, like I said, I love these trucks here. These trucks just seem to have just an amazing draft package to them. So you're seeing right now that outside line working very well. Just a good couple pushes from a group of drivers can really get that outside line moving. The inside line kind of gets bogged up behind, but overall, it's just whoever has the best pusher, really. As you see Fody here getting, as you said, the newest driver here, Ryan Schold, a little push forward there to get themselves a little bit of a gap between third with Scott Haney and Scott Crump out there.
Just a little bit of breathing room. I'm sure it will not last. And just right there, you see Josh Robin helping to push Scott Haney right back up to Tyler Fody. A little bit more dancing back there. Further back, we see just a little bit more side-by-side here from about 5th on back or so. Right now, look at Robin side-by-side with Scott Crump. The 8 on the inside is Robin. The 90 on the outside, Scott Crump. In the 500, by this point, we had seemed to feel pretty much singled out, just riding to get to the end of that race. Not quite the case here tonight, to say the least.
No, I think people were tired of that. They want to race tonight. So I'm like I said, the only next best thing being up here talking to you is maybe down there in Victory Lane. But right now, this is exciting. This is what you come to watch: is see some good draft package and some good drafting and some lead swaps for a good race early on here. So hopefully, like I said, that this keeps up. Right now, it's nice and clean. This is the time where if you're going to make the move, try to get up to the front, do it now while people are still nice, because it won't be that way when
it
that
certainly
stage.
won't.
Oh no, that stage is going to come up in 15 laps here, and about maybe 5 to go is when people start defending those points very, very hard. So, yeah, as we see Robin getting a very nice push from Scott Crump right there. He's going to go side to side right now with the 06, and like I said, I believe that outside line has just got it going right now for them. They're all playing nice and all evened up. It's when that third line starts to form that you start seeing it get pretty tight. Whoa! As you see the 06 get a little bit too much of a bump from Fody. I think Fody was telling him he needs to go a little faster there. So, that luckily they were able to keep that one in tow, because that didn't look too nice of a bump. But yeah, they're still going straight. So. Yeah, if you pile it up there, that's going to take a lot of people out. So hopefully that front stays clean.
It's funny with these trucks especially. They typically react pretty favorably. Oh, I say that, and now we're all kinds of out of shape back here. Four wide. Kendall Noah player around, and we are crashing. Oh, this is a big one. A lot of guys are going to get tangled up in this. Oh, man, what a heartbreaker.
Yeah. That is not what you wanted to see. That was exactly what those people in the back were hoping for, and the people in the front were kind of thinking wasn't going to happen. And unfortunately, it did happen, as you see Noah player getting a little bit of a bump on the wrong side of the bumper and just sent him right around in front of the whole field. Nowhere for a lot of those guys to go.
We are going to pull up the replay here and get a closer look at exactly how all of that unfolded, because it started, honestly, just a little bit before they were all 3 and 4 wide. We're going to try to take to the sky here with the blimp cam and see if we can show exactly how this all transpired. You're going to see the third truck in the outside line is Kendall Noah player, and they just get a little out of shape in front of him. Now they're 4 wide, just trying to get through all of this. Little bit of contact there with, I believe that was Dylan Thomas maybe, and then they just all pile in. Just so many trucks tangled up in this. Fortunately, it looks like some of them simply took to the grass for evasive maneuvers, but you see Jared Rexing, I see Mark Keeler, several trucks involved in this one. We'll try to get another angle here.
I think that all really started with Scott Crump just giving just a tad wrong push to Robin there, and it checked up, and then Noah tried checking up himself and accidentally came down a little bit on Scott there, and of course they all try to get back into position, but 4 wide at Daytona. Maybe at Talladega might have worked, but Daytona is just a little bit too tight, and I just don't think anyone quite knew that they were 4 wide whenever that started going on. So you'll see Noah just get turned right in front of the field and just get hit just by about everybody except for the pace car. Just a hard hit.
Definitely not how you want this deal to go. We'll try to get one more on-board replay here, as we just saw what Kendall Noah player saw, and it wasn't good.
No, he's going to be out for the evening for sure. He got a lot of. I don't think there's a panel on that car that's going to even be repairable. I think it hit every single little part of it. So, yeah, no, it looked like it took out. I would say about probably 15 cars there.
Here is a. Oh, well, all right, never mind. I guess he blinked out in the middle of all that excitement, but I thought we were going to get a great view of what Ethan saw during all of that, but
I don't know if it's a great view. There's a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke, as we'll get back to the live action here and try to dissect who survived that. Ryan Schold, your leader. Josh Robin in second. Scott Crump is third. Dylan Jones fourth. Dustin Dorr fifth. Kyle Walgren in sixth. Sam Boutwell in seventh. Michael Goodman eighth. Tyler Fody ninth. Tyler Dixon 10th as they run right now. I'm sure plenty of vehicles went to pit road during that chance to repair damage. In fact, it looks like Fody may have been one of the vehicles who did pit, at least according to my timing and scoring here. But several vehicles still on pit road, or just now exiting the pits. We see this is Trey Holmes. Trying to get a good look at who else is in it. It looks like Brody Moore is another one coming around, getting repairs. James Sauls. I mean, just a whole lot of people who maybe don't have massive damage and will be able to get back in the fray here, but definitely rough start to their season.
Yeah, absolutely. I see 3 cars that look to be out right now, at least from the tracker. You got Kendall, obviously. We saw what the shape of his truck was. Nope. Just updated. A lot of cars. A lot of cars are out. You got Thomas Sherman. You got Brandon Key, Jared Rexing. I mean, some really strong names. Even Chad Frankenfield, a Truck Series champion, looks to be a let down and probably out of the race. So, yeah, so far it looks like around about 6 people are out of the race right now.
Definitely not the start we had hoped to see to this season, but the field is doubled up as we're going to get ready for another restart here for this Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. We'll take this quick, unfortunate opportunity to thank one of the premier partners here at the Elite Racing Leagues, and that is C2 Freight Resources. C2 Freight offers complete freight management services. They're ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future. With thousands of qualified carriers in their database, they're capable of handling shipping for every type of goods, from perishable foods to office equipment. Whatever you need to ship, they have access to the necessary equipment, including flatbeds, double drops, vans, tankers, refrigerated equipment, multi-axle heavy haulers, dump trucks, auto carriers, intermodal containers, and more. Thank you to C2 Freight for their support of Elite. Unfortunately, we might need some of those shipping containers for some of the trucks we just wadded up here at Daytona. But we've got 90 laps to go. Still plenty of time to find out who's going to win this one tonight.
There's still plenty of trucks on the field, so some of those guys that stayed in the back, maybe they feel more comfortable, probably not. But, you know, maybe they're waiting for the first wreck, so maybe you'll see some new guys start to travel up to the front. But as we say that, they're going green now, so 06 gets a pretty hefty jump there. You don't want to get out too far, or you'll just get a freight train. Looks like Robin's going to try to maybe hopefully duck in behind Scott Crump, and as I say that, he does. So we'll see a little bit of a single file line until at least the backstretch here.
Well, then immediately, now the announcer's jinx already in full form. A little bit of contact there, I believe, from Scott Crump and Ryan Scholl there as they battle down the backstretch, but it will be Crump moving to the lead with Josh Robin in tow.
Yeah, as you see Durr and Goodman coming up from the top side, and here comes Fody. He got the new tires, or he got something done to his car. I don't know why he really came down pit road, maybe just to make it a little bit more challenging or have more fun, but he's starting to push those guys up the top side and get that top, hopefully rolling back up good and make people not so afraid of it, and, you know, kind of put that wreck behind some of these drivers' thoughts. You know, a lot of times, as a fellow driver, the only way you can get past that previous wreck is just to think, well, I'm glad that's over with, and we're never going to do that again. So that sometimes is the mentality of drivers. So we'll see if they can get that. Ooh, as you see, Scott Crump get a little sideways again. It looks like these back ends of these trucks just are a little loose upon pushing. As you see, you know, anyone that gives a nice little shove, if it's not directly to the back of it, it just sends them sideways a little bit.
It definitely seems like these trucks are dancing around a lot from these bump drafts, a little bit more than we're used to seeing with the trucks. Every vehicle handles that a little bit differently. If you're seeing that from the cockpit, you know, how does that adjust kind of how you move through these last 7 laps of the first stage?
Well, luckily with the trucks, there's more to see. The windows are up higher. In like the new Cup cars or anything like that, if you're pushing or you're right on the back of somebody, you're not seeing anything. Luckily, you're kind of basing off what to do by looking through the windshield of the guy in front of you. And it just comes with experience as to where your bumper lines up over theirs, essentially. So, it's kind of hard to really say where someone's going to be at. You just kind of hope that the guy in front of you, a lot of times, can point his car in the right direction, so that way you don't have to worry about what's in front of him. So, yeah, like I said, luckily with these trucks, I mean, they have better view than most, but it's still not a lot. It's still very difficult to really see when you're right on the back of someone.
We see Dustin Dewar in that 32 truck on the outside line trying to get to the lead. You know he definitely wants to lead some laps here in the Memory Lanes 250 with that Memory Lanes sponsorship on his number 32. Getting a nice little shove there from Michael Goodman as it looks like they're actually coming up on one lap truck here. This always gets a little interesting as they work their way around to 77, and one more truck couldn't quite make out the number on that one. But this is where it gets really hairy when you're running side by side and coming up on some of these damaged trucks.
Not so bad if they're up against the wall. It's whenever the damaged truck decides that they're going to run the same line as you. But yeah, with some of these cars, with how damaged they are, you do come up on them fairly quickly. But they've got to go out there, because I think the rule is if they're 6 laps down, they're out of the race. And these guys, a lot of these guys are running for points. They're obviously not going to want to just go down a lap and be out of the race if they can help it. So, they got to get out there. They gotta obviously get the draft, and sometimes that means running it very close to the leading pack. So, luckily, all the lead lap drivers seem to have gotten past all of that, and now can just hopefully maintain a decent pace as we come to 5 laps to go in the stage here.
And that is correct, of course. The rule for super speedways across all 3 of Elite Series, once you lose, fall 6 laps down, then you are asked to park for the evening. More of a safety precaution more than anything, but otherwise, I mean, you talk about how important it is to log laps for those points. It's definitely vital to get every position and every point you can, and I'm sure some of those guys are hoping, almost praying for another caution so that they can get back down pit road and get some more repairs done and try to get a little bit closer to on speed.
Well, luckily for some of these trucks, the stages for the trucks are under caution, so they will be able to get repairs done here in about 4 more laps as we come to take four more laps into the stage here, as Robin seems to have decided to work with Goodman and his teammate there, Durr, and try to get around Scott Crump on the outside as we come back around.
Yeah, let's set the table here as we close in on the end of this stage. On the inside, the green and black 90 is Scott Crump. Josh Robin on the outside in the 8. The red 06 of Ryan Scholl inside, second truck in line. He's got the 22 of Dylan Jones behind him. That's Dustin Dewar in the black and gold 32. Michael Goodman in the red and black 44 on the outside, trying. And now Josh Robin getting out front, but it looked like he was even getting a little bit of a push there in the corners.
That's risky. Pushing in the middle of the turn is always risky. But like I told you, with these stage points on the line, they're gonna risk it for the biscuit. They're gonna go for it. It's go hard. But what Durr's got to worry about, I'm sure he's trying to push hard to get him past Crump, because he's always got to pay attention to his engine temperature. So, when you're up against someone that hard, especially in the middle of the turns, that engine temperature is just going to spike and just keep going up higher and higher. So he's desperately trying to get Robin to get ahead of Crump and pleading with him to duck down. But I don't know if Robin, this is where it gets risky, is when the leader decides to stay on the top side even though the bottom's available. As you see, both Durr and Robin. Oh, and they're coming up on lap cars.
Oh, the sideways. Are they going to save it? No.
They are wrecking.
Oh, no.
That
Dewar
is not
involved.
What you
Crump
want to see.
involved. Goodman involved. Walgren involved. I think that's Haney involved after such a strong qualifying effort. Oh, another. Oh, you just hate to see that. There's so many good front-running trucks there. We'll pull up the replay, but gosh, that's just. Oh, you hate to see
happens.
that.
Yeah, that, like I said, it's not so bad when the lap cars stay on the top side. Is when they don't know where to go. Is where it ends up to having this kind of result where too fast of a run coming up on too slow of a driver, and it happens. I'm sure that driver that was out in front. It's just that he could take that back, but it's too late.
Yeah, you see here the lap trucks, unfortunately, side by side. You hate to speak ill of these competitors, but that's really not what really should have been happening there, and really left nowhere for the leaders to go, and it just triggers this complete melee coming out of turn 4 with a lot of good trucks taken out in it.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's what happens. This is a beginner series, so I mean, you're going to get drivers that don't quite know. I'm sure it's a learning experience. I'm sure that driver, probably will never make that mistake again, as he sees what happens when that happens. But yeah, that takes out a lot of really strong competitors that were up front once again. So uh, once again, it goes to the drivers that decided to stay in the back. It played into their favor once again. The ones that decided that they were going to wait out on a couple of these cautions, that took out again probably another 5-10 cars again.
Riding on board with Scott Haney, and this is just how quickly it all. I mean, you can see he's doing everything right, trying to slow down, and just one impact to his right side knocks Kyle Walgren into his right front fender. Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage, but that's just how quickly the track gets blocked here at Daytona in these multi-car melees.
Sometimes you have to be a pinball master to try to get past these wrecks, because it's not directly the car in front of you that you have to avoid. It's sometimes the ricochets of other vehicles. So sometimes knowing where that paddle's going to have to be at is essential. As you see, Scott just, he did a good job. He got through most of it. It's just that last car just got sent sideways right in front of him, and I don't think he had any chance of avoiding it that quickly, unless he predicted the future. But I'm sure his car is still repairable. He's gonna probably still be out there. Again, this is the reason why those drivers that are battling so hard to try to stay just a few laps down, it's for situations like this, to gain those positions that from cars that just aren't going to be able to get back out there.
Now this will mark the end of the first stage. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to check in officially after the race with Chad and everyone at Elite to see who exactly was scored in the top 10 at the end of that stage. Typically, they will give a little bit of lenience to not, so you'd be allowed to pit as soon as pits are open in this kind of situation, instead of making another lap under caution for the sake of a stage point and then sacrificing the track position immediately by pitting behind the others who pitted before you. So, not entirely sure our top 10 here is exactly who were the top 10 at the end of the stage, if that all makes sense. But what we have now is Josh Robin leading, Ryan Scholl, Tyler Dixon, Sam Boutwell, Michael Goodman, William Harrington, Chad Thornquist, Ethan Burrell, James Sauls, and Tom Bourne as they double up for the restart, which will begin our second stage here. We will take this quick opportunity to thank another premier partner of the Elite Racing Leagues. That's Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg, the marketing department for small businesses. Thank you, Blue Egg, for your support of Elite Racing Leagues as we get ready, like I say, for this second stage here at Daytona in the Memory Lanes 250. Little bit shorter pack we see behind the pace truck. I'm sure some of those guys are coming out pit road now and trying to catch up, but definitely battle of attrition so far at Daytona.
Oh yeah, it's a lot smaller pack, but these trucks are, I feel like it's not over. These trucks are very good at drafting up. One thing we're sure of, though, is Robin got that stage point there, so we can say that at least.
Yes.
I believe he would. Yeah, so that one important, crucial point for the championship will go to Robin there. It's the 06. This is, like I said, like you were saying, I mean, this is where you earn a name. This is where drivers get to know you. It's in this series. And one thing we can say is Ryan Schultz has obviously proven that he's a decent driver, staying up there, not causing any drama, being predictable. I think that's the biggest thing you can tell new drivers is just try to be predictable. And as we get going green here, Robin puts a hefty block on the 06 as he's going back and forth. He's trying to decide who he wants behind him right now. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know either one of the ones behind him.
No, that's definitely two newcomers behind him. We talked about Ryan Scholl a lot so far. Sam Boutwell, another of the elite rookies in that number 47 that's now running in second with Tyler Dixon in the 54 just behind them. So
Can't mistake that car. That's
no,
for sure.
no.
That's colorful.
I mean, Tyler had the seafoam green in the Daytona 500 last Wednesday. Now he's got that nice shade of, I guess that's a pink. Is that pink? It's got some orange in it, I think.
I don't think he decided on what it wanted to be, so I think it's a little bit of everything right now.
Whatever it is, it's near the front instead of smoking in the pit, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it says smoked meats on the back, so I'm gonna go with it's like a meat pink or something like that. But hey, we got teammates up on the top side. We can tell that by paint jobs.
Yeah.
I believe they're the FRN group that are up at the top side.
Yeah, that's I believe that's Tom Bourne. Yes, Tom Bourne in the 31, Shane Terrian in the 38. Those almost matching Spotter's Nightmare black, green, and white trucks. There's just enough of a difference that they could probably tell them apart, but fortunately, it's the spotters in iRacing can just use a screen like us instead of having to stand on top of the roof here at the World Center of Racing.
For them, I think it's mainly for as they get sideways. Oh boy, like I said, these back ends of these cars are just all over the place right now. But I know both of those drivers, and they may be new to Elite, but those are definitely drivers that have experience. I know them from other racing leagues and everything. They're both part of our group, so I know they're going to be contenders. Any type of teamwork or grouping you have can obviously give yourself a little bit of the lead advantage. So two are always better than one at these super speedways.
And now we see that 31 of Tom Bourne out front. The FRN truck's broken up a little bit. Now they're side by side battling for the lead. It's funny how quickly friend can become foe and vice versa in these super speedway races.
Yeah, I always call it whenever we do something like that, it's divide and conquer. When you can lead the bottom and the top line as a group. Didn't work out because they've already gotten passed by, who is that?
Daniel Martinez now out front in the 83.
Yeah.
I almost didn't recognize that because
it
doesn't look like a Daniel Martinez vehicle, but that is indeed Mr. Martinez now leading the charge here at Daytona.
Yeah, he's a bit of a super speeder as well. I've seen him do very well in these super speedway races. He always seems to be one of those that is not afraid to go up there and lead or go up there and race hard, even if he gets into a bit of an accident here or there. He's always aggressive on these super speedways as well. But yeah, as you said, it's not quite the car I would normally see him in. He's usually got himself some kind of sporty car that is pretty easily to spot out. This one's a little bit behind the shadow there with just a white and plain black car. But hey, it's still fast. He's up front right now.
It reminds me a lot of when Carl Edwards was in the Truck Series, just starting out his career. As we see the 31 of Tom Bourne say, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out for a little bit, guys. I'm going to drop back here and y'all have fun for a little bit. Yeah, that's the vibe I get looking at that 83.
Yeah, I think 31 just decided he got his lap led, and I think he's good enough to go to the back. So we see Ethan Burrell, a name that you would recognize all through the league. He races in a lot of different series, and all of a sudden getting up there and leading that lap. So Ethan Burrell, come up again on a lap car.
Okay, he got to the bottom. It looked sketchy when we first got a glance of him on the monitor, but boy.
47 got loose there trying to get around him. Again, these trucks, when you're up against someone, you cannot see a car in front. So unless something is said, or man, it's so sketchy. It's always scary when a big group of trucks like that come up on a slow lap car. But luckily, we made it through that. No more torn trucks, and hopefully these guys can keep going and put on a good show. They are coming up on a lot of slow lap trucks now.
And you mentioned this with the incident that brought out our last caution, and it does bear repeating. This is the Truck Series is kind of the starter branch for the elite racing leagues. For a lot of these guys, it might even be their first time racing in a league of any capacity. These are just some of these things you're going to see, and it's learning experiences. And I'm sure some of the drivers in the field are into in-game communications and reading off
And
the riot act because you're in the heat of the moment. But we all at some point had to make our first league start, and we're doing some of the same questionable moves that you might sit there at home watching this broadcast and say, what is he doing? Well, we've all been there, so who are we to judge? But that's why you have these leagues. You know, this is where you get that experience, get your feet wet, and work your way up the ladder.
yeah, this field's not big enough for all the names that I've accidentally taken out of the league race. So yeah, no, it's just, you know, part of the process. You know, we don't, you know, say by any means don't show up if you don't know what you're doing. You gotta experience this to really know full tilt what it takes. Because just watching it on broadcast or watching it in real life, it's completely different when you experience it on the racetrack and when things are going and you're having to make these quick decisions. You know, these guys don't have spotters, well, for most of them don't. So the only voice in their head is their own, hopefully. And sometimes, you know, you don't have that experience knowledge of someone coming over the phone, over the radio and telling you what you should be doing. So it just comes with experience of getting onto the track. Is again, we're seeing a heck of a scrap for the lead here as that lead FRN car is trying his best to try to stay up front, but we're just playing this push the guy to the front and the outside and drop down to the bottom, which is preferred, trust me, and these big group of trucks, so that next guy behind gets that clean air. But we're seeing a really good job for whatever trucks are left over here as far as some really nice drafting and some clean driving from these drivers.
Yeah, Trey Holmes just got the push to the lead, although Josh Robin appears to be next in line there in that outside line to see if he can challenge for the top spot. As we're already halfway through this second stage here, one truck well off the pace there exiting turn 4, but I think he's definitely got to be out of harm's way as far as drawing an iRacing's caution, but hopefully he'll be able to get to pit road and solve whatever issue he's got. As we go side by side into turn 1 and 2, Josh Robin on the outside, Trey Holmes on the inside, battling for the lead here at Daytona.
Yeah. Again,
whoa! And now that I believe that's Terrian. Yes, Terrian dropping to the inside. He's gonna go join Tom Bourne, I think. Yeah, they're reading off the same playbook right now, I believe. He's filtered his way back onto the racing surface, and he's going to hang out for a little bit. Still quite a few laps before we get to the end of this stage, and the intensity, I'm sure, will ramp up again.
You know, there's multiple reasons what goes through a driver's head to make him decide that. It either is all of a sudden your truck did something that you did not expect, and you want to take a breather. Sometimes you just don't like a certain driver that's up there, and you just don't feel comfortable around him. So maybe you just want to drop to the back. You know, there's a few different reasons as for the reason to go back there. Again, it's all depending on really what's going on in that driver's cockpit. It's different for each driver. So, like I said, right now we got Robin back out front, the winner of the first stage, up here. You know, kind of just doing what he's doing best. He's just trying to lead the bottom and just trying to kind of, you know, stay up there where hopefully in the end of the stage you can go for another point there.
I can't help but notice you do see at the very back of the frame there. I hate to cut away from the lead bow, but William Harrington, Shane Terry and Bronson Stafford and Tom Bourne. It appears we're all nose to tail, just at the edge of the frame there in those 3 FRN trucks. So I think at this point they're just trying to keep their noses clean together and get to the end of this stage, and then they'll see how things stack up. As it stands right now, Trey Holmes, Josh Robin battling for the lead here on lap 33 at Daytona. Again, that's Ryan Schold in the 06, just behind Robin. Ethan Burrell also involved in this. Wyatt Nadel up to 6. We haven't said his name a whole bunch tonight, but he's been hanging around near the top 10 throughout the evening. Definitely going to be interesting to see who really shows their hand as we get closer to the end of this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you see these cars getting lapped down, you know, there's a separate race. You know, obviously whenever your car gets wrecked is now a different kind of game that you have to play, because we're coming up on a lot of cars, about 4 or 5 cars that if they get lapped one more time, they're going to be out of the race. And a lot of these guys, we still got 6 laps left. A lot of these guys, we might be seeing fewer and fewer lap cars here as the race goes on because, as the rule states, 6 laps down, you're out of the race. So we're going to see less and less of these traffic cones. If you, not a nice way of putting it, but traffic cones essentially a lap down. Some of those trucks are probably just not going to have any speed no matter how much time they put into them in the pits to get them prepared up, as the outside line seems to have kind of broken away. I don't feel like that's going to stay here as the end of the stage is looming. We're going to see, someone want to obviously jump up to the outside and give himself a chance at the stage win.
Yeah, right now it just doesn't have. Right now it's really just 2 or 3 trucks on that outside line. Although Daniel Martinez just jumped up there in the 83, he's got to try to get that train rolling again as they roll off of turn 4 towards the start-finish line. We'll see if he can ride the wave back to the front.
Yeah, I think Ethan Burrell has some side damage. I think he's a fine pusher. I think he drafts up just fine and can be able to obviously push, but as you saw, when he's out there by himself, the front end's just too damaged. I don't think he can obviously stay up there by himself without having someone in front of him. As you see him already pushing Daniel Martinez right up to the front with no issues. So, that changes your strategy with these drivers, how you're going to play the game. Obviously, you're going to try to find someone that you trust pushing and then just try to make a last lap move, hopefully at the end of these things, at the stage or at the end of the finish line. But right now, as you see, he's just going to drop back without anyone in front of him. Just too much damage in front of it.
Indeed, as we now get closer and closer, crossing the line here, that completes lap 36, getting closer and closer to the end of this stage. Daniel Martinez leading the way, Trey Holmes in second, Josh Robin third. Then your first side-by-side, that's Sam Boutwell on the inside into 47, Ethan Burrell on the outside into 19. And we'll see if Ethan can get that outside lane going and try to, as we get closer and closer, to figure out who's got to get some of these valuable stage points here at lap 40.
Yeah, we're also seeing some cars fit in. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe that caution the last time some stayed out to win the stage. Maybe that's how that played out, and we don't really get word of it.
Oh, a bunch of guys pitting here, yes.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, if I had to make a guess as to what happened here, was the stage ended, but they didn't pit to get the stage points. So these drivers that are pitting now probably stayed out last stage to get those stage points, and unfortunately it looks like the amount of gas you get only gets you up to lap 38. So with 2 laps left to go here in the stage, the ones that came in and opted to just take an L on the points for the last stage are the ones that are leading up front here now.
Is it also possible that maybe some guys, and we know the pits close 2 laps before the end of a stage, which should be right about here. Is it possible some of those guys are hoping to, even if they lose a lap, get the wave around and stay on the lead lap, or maybe even get out in front of these leaders and start out front for the final stage?
It's going to be close because some of these guys are going to go a lap down. They're too spread out. Some of them are going to be just fine. It's not like you would see like at a road course where some of these guys are pitting as a strategy to get back out front. It may work in that way for some of them, but around Daytona, it's truly not that difficult in these trucks to get out front. Maybe in the next gen car where it's atrocious to try to get back up to the front, it takes you all race long. The trucks is fairly easy if you've got a decent enough truck underneath you. So we are going to see a couple guys go lap down. Some of these are going to be just fine. I honestly think it was just the mere fact that they just didn't have the fuel for the end with them staying out the last time.
So here we go. If my math is correct, this is the final lap of the stage. Daniel Martinez leading the way. Trey Holmes in second. Wyatt Nadel third. Ethan Burrell fourth. Now, that 06, that red 06 of Ryan Schultz was one of the trucks that pitted. He is not in the mix for these stage points here, but he's right up there with the leaders. It'll be interesting to see how he factors into this, as now Trey Holmes getting the push on the outside from Ethan Burrell, and it's going to be Trey Holmes going to the front with Ethan Burrell up to second. Daniel Martinez now side by side with Chad Thernquist for, one goes way up the hill. Way up, they're going to go 3 wide coming to the line, I think, further back. But at the line, side by side, this is going to be for the stage, and I believe it's going to go to Trey Holmes. Oh, man, and there is the caution for the stage break, but what a battle for that stage win.
Yes. Trey Holmes got it. Ethan Burrell, like I said, his front end, I think he had a perfect strategy to try to get up there. Honestly, I think the damage is just hindering him too much to really be able to get the drive off with being in front. But Trey Holmes did an excellent job jumping out on the back straightaway to get with Ethan there and get pushed right around Daniel Martinez to be able to jump right in front of him. And like I said, if it might have been a closer battle than that if Ethan didn't have that front end damage. But good battle to the end there for that stage event.
Trey Holmes picking up the win to close out the second stage. From here on out, no more stage breaks. Just good, hard racing to figure out who's going to win the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. Do want to take this opportunity to, again, thank some of our premier partners here in Elite Racing League, C2 Freight Resources. C2 Freight offers electronic data interchange services, or EDI, which allow shippers to keep close electronic tabs on their shipments throughout the freight movement process. For more information about EDI services or to discuss your needs for other specialized services, please contact C2 Freight. Again, thank you to C2 Freight, as well as Blue Egg Marketing. For small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Thank you to Blue Egg Marketing and C2 Freight for their support of Elite Racing Leagues. As we wrap up this, the field has caught up to the pace vehicle, and this is where you're going to see everybody who hadn't pitted already, they're definitely pitting here.
Oh, yeah, they're going to want to make sure that they're topped up on here. A big shout out to some of those drivers. Again, this being a beginner series, a lot of drivers you wouldn't necessarily see up front or don't get to be shown as much. Obviously, get a good shout out to Trey Holmes, Chad Thernquist, Wyatt. I don't think Wyatt's been with us before, but Wyatt, Shane Thurian, William in the 66, Tom Bourne, and Brent Jones getting the last point there in 10th place. So don't sleep on Brent Jones. Brent Jones is always one of those that at the end of these races you go, where did he come from? I thought he was in the back, but Brent Jones always waits. He's one of those. He's a patient tiger. He waits into the back until it's time to pounce. So, I think the 06 is going to be able to get the wave around here from what it looks like.
I believe that will be the case, as Trey Holmes will win the race off pit road. Daniel Martinez next in line. So we see the rest of the field make their way off of pit road. Still quite a few trucks out here, some of them in better shape than others certainly, but plenty of contenders still remaining for all intents and purposes, the second half of this race.
Well, we see a couple cars stayed out, maybe just one. It looked like the 47 of Sam Batwell decided to stay out. He obviously was one of those that pitted in a couple laps before the stage end, so he's going to be banking on, obviously, a caution to even it up. You never want to be the lone driver in one of these super speedways that has to come down pit road by yourself. So he's going to be a couple laps short of fuel than the rest of the field. And a lot of times in these things, they wait until they're almost empty before they come back down pit road. So he's going to hope for some hope that, obviously, there's going to be some kind of yellow to where it kind of evens the playing field for him, because right now he's going to be on a fuel strategy all of his own.
Definitely an unnerving proposition. He was, as you mentioned, one of those guys who pitted right before the pit entry closed to end stage number 2. It looks like the numbers are going to work out between the caution laps and everything, that he's about 5 laps longer on this stint than most of the competition, 4 to 5 laps which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you remember this is a 2.5-mile track, that's 10 miles less of fuel he has in that truck compared to some of the others out here. So that could definitely be a huge factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he's going to need something going on because he does have a little bit of side damage. But to be honest with you, most of these cars have a little bit of damage here or there, except for some of those that have been lucky enough to either stay way in the back or been up front. But as we get done with the stage ends here, we've got 60 laps. So if there is no cautions, there's an absolute good chance there of a green flag pit stop, which is going to just put these guys into another strategy of its own on how to figure out when to come down and hopefully leave out with a big enough group to be able to keep the speed up. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy being played right now.
So it looks like coming to this restart, they did double up, but it looks like the caution has been extended one lap. Some of the wave round trucks had a hard time getting into position, it appeared, and around the pace vehicle, so we're going to give them an extra lap to get caught up. But that'll give us an extra lap to kind of talk about this top 10 or so as we get ready to go back green. Sam Boutwell leading, Trey Holmes in second, Daniel Martinez in third, Wyatt Nadel in fourth, Chad Thornquist fifth, Josh Robbins sixth, Zishan Dura in seventh, another one of those names we haven't talked about a lot tonight, but he's having a strong showing for himself in the 01. Shane Terry in 8th, Tom Warren's showing in 9th right now, Dylan Jones 10th, and as you mentioned, Brent Jones having a strong run. He's sitting 11th right now.
Well, one thing we got to look at, and I'll tell you this, from a guy that was in the Daytona 500 with the Elite with about 4 laps to go, and I restarted in second, I had no help, no teammates, and then in one lap I went from second to 20th position. And on the end of that race, and ruined a very good running for me. Teamwork is going to come into play on the end of these races, either with drafting help or with deciding factors. So when it starts coming down to the end and the numbers start dropping and it starts weeding out some of the wrecks of cars, you start looking at who's left, which teams are still around, and obviously, one team that we've mentioned before, the FRN team, luckily enough, you can tell who they are because they all have the same sponsor. But, all those guys right there working really good together. So that's one group that you're going to have to watch out at the end here. I'm seeing a lot of teams that are broken up. Some of their teammates are taken out or, it's kind of broken up the field. I see on the outside there, Robin and Zishan Dura, their teammates, they're lined up on the outside together. But like I said, it looks like to be just a bag of lonely drivers with teammates that are out of the race. So it's kind of deciding factor who's going to be your buddy here coming for the next 60 laps.
Here we go, coming to start lap 46, the green flag back out in the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. And you talked about on one of those last restarts, you don't want to get too far out ahead. I think Sam Boutwell might be in danger of that a little bit here, but nonetheless, he leads the way into turn number 1.
Now, luckily, the sideline kind of just broke apart there, but you do see the 83 car jump to the outside of him, and it's going to clear him.
Oh boy, a big move to the inside there. Didn't quite catch which truck that was. I believe it was Chad Thornquist as I'm looking at scoring, and it's that 92 falling down the leaderboard. But he had to take evasive action there coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, he decided he was not ready to play the games that they're ready to play. So he decided just to drop to the back and wait it out. You can now see in one frame here the whole pack. Couldn't say that at the beginning of the race.
Oh, we're going 3 wide here. This could get really interesting. Wyatt Nadel on the inside. That's Josh Robin in the middle. Daniel Martinez with the push from Trey Holmes on the outside. It looks like, yes, it'll be Daniel Martinez getting out in front, but there's still 3 wide. We're not even to the halfway mark.
This is what I expected from the trucks. You're going to see 3 wide as, the 8 car pushes Daniel Martinez, and he's going to jump to the bottom with his teammate Zishan Dura behind him as they're going to go ahead and just push right past. Again, you don't want to get it too far out as this bottom lane is going to get a good run and you'll see this 88 car jump to the outside with maybe a little bit of help here as they start to single file out from. It always seems like that 3 wide seems to either scare people down to single file or it just ruins that outside lane's momentum, and it takes a little bit for it to get back up again. But good battling up there for Robin to get back up to the front.
Josh Robin leading the way with Zishan Dura in tow. Trey Holmes third, Wyatt Nadel fourth, Sam Boutwell fifth, and then behind them you start to see the side-by-side with the likes of Dylan Jones, Bronson Stafford, Tyler Fody working his way back into the mix. This is where you're starting to see those leaders settle down a little bit, but I don't know if these guys further back are going to try to get that outside lane going again, or if they're going to also try to work their way to the bottom groove here.
Yeah, some of those guys are going to decide on fuel strategy, save a little bit more. It gets like this sometimes. Sometimes you just kind of want to wait to see the tracker or the ticker for the lap counter to go down before you decide you want to do any more racing. There's no stages, so the end goal is to get past that next green flag pit stop if it comes up, and hopefully have enough to battle. As you see, Daniel Martinez get a very good shove, and Ethan Burrell give him a good run over there to the front of the pack again.
Yeah, that out indeed. Daniel Martinez and Ethan Burrell working their way to the front of the field. Tyler Fody also in that outside lane as it's marching its way towards the front. Here we go, starting lap 50. Daniel Martinez leading the way.
Yeah, they got that outside run, and they're both going to clear him in front of Robin there. So they've dropped down to the bottom. Robin's going to try to jump back up to the top with Fody, see if he can just kind of replicate what they just did to him. And I think he's trying to go for the most laps led right now. He's definitely a top contender.
Every lap led certainly matters. I mean, we talked about the stage points throughout the first 2 stages. Those laps led, every point will matter in this short 8-race regular season as we build towards which drivers will compete for the championship in the Elite Racing League Old Testament Firearm Truck Series. Right now at the halfway mark, Daniel Martinez by about half a truck, leading the way over Josh Robin. Man, side-by-side action, several rows deep here at Daytona. This is why people love super speedway racing, right?
Yeah, this is why they turn up. That's for this type of racing here. This is one of the few series that still has the decent draft package to them. So a lot of people enjoy these trucks, even if they may not run the full season. They sure like to show up for the super speedway packages, just because you can make something happen even with just 2 drivers. You can make something happen if you've got the skill and the talent and the patience to work with someone. So as you see, you're going to see the same guys up front for the whole race, just because they know how to work with someone, how to work the draft, and be able to get back up to the front, and always seem to find their way back up there. That's what people like. It's its own skill and unique talent to get these trucks to draft around here to optimal speeds.
Right now it's Josh Robin on the inside with Daniel Martinez in tow. Tyler Fody leading the train on the outside with Trey Holmes providing the push. Got Tyler Dixon also in that 54 on the outside lane. Ethan Burrell, third truck in line on the bottom. Just continue to watch these guys work their way forwards and backwards. This package just providing such great racing here at Daytona. We see Zishan Dura move up to the high side there. He's got to tuck in behind Dixon, just ahead of Dylan Jones into 22 on that high line. 52 laps complete.
Yeah, as you see Fody jump in front of the 8 car there. The 8 car is going to hopefully try to get clear enough to jump back up in front of him if he can get it, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, as Trey Holmes is able to stick to the side of him and kind of get that side draft to at least be able to make sure that he's the next guy to try to get around Cody. So you see Tyler Dixon there pushing him in his meat pink car or truck. At least the hood, if you're looking from behind, it's not as scary looking, I guess. But yeah, he's going to get a good little shove here. Like I said, what Robin's trying to do is just trying to push Fody out far enough to where he can be able to jump up to the top. He's not quite there yet. He might be able to get it here in the middle of this turn to jump up to the outside going down the backstretch.
This is definitely great action we're seeing here at Daytona. Tyler Fody leading the way. Trey Holmes leading the charge on the outside. Tyler Dixon providing the support. Zishan Dura also on that outside lane. That's probably 13, 14 trucks deep, this lead pack right now. All trying to figure out how they can get to the front of this field and lead the way at Daytona.
Yeah, the wrecks didn't scare them. They're here. Again, the guys that you trust, a lot of these guys are probably ones that they're familiar with now. At least if there aren't someone you've raced with, they've been up here long enough that you feel comfortable that you can race around them. You know, in the beginning of the races, those ones that you're worried about are usually out by this time. So you're going to see some guys starting to jump up here, have more confidence to push, have more confidence to run side by side. So you're going to get some of these really good drafting packs here at the end of these races.
You've mentioned a couple of times tonight how hard it can be to see when you're tucked right up behind somebody in one of these drafts. We're going to go on board real quick with Josh Robin to demonstrate that. As you can see, not a ton of visit. Oh no! And he's in it.
Oh, he's spinning around. Oh no, he got hit hard there. Yeah, Robin got hit pretty hard in the door.
Well,
oh boy.
I may never cut to an onboard again.
Yeah.
That is the announcer's jinx to a whole new level. As the caution comes out, the leaders come together. We'll grab a replay so you can actually see what happened from a third-person perspective instead of onboard Josh Robbins' truck there.
I think he jumped on board his steering wheel or something, because that was perfect timing. I don't know how you did that.
I feel bad about that one. But we are definitely going to take a look here at what happened to bring out this caution. Take a quick look from the skies. You'll see it actually looks like it starts with the leaders there. Yeah, Daniel Martinez comes down across the nose of Tyler Fody. Wasn't quite clear. Probably had the spotter telling him he was clear, whether the iRacing or otherwise. They make contact, and then the field piles in.
Yeah, I think he just, I don't know if the bump maybe got him sideways or if he tried to clear himself or maybe he heard clear, but Fody was still unfortunately still there, and that's just a bad spot in the track because it doesn't look like it's a turn, but I tell you, it is a turn. That front straightaway, that little D shape right there, is still technically a turn in my opinion, just because you do have the banking, and you get this where when the car gets turned, it comes right back up the racetrack, as you just see right there. And a lot of those guys just nowhere to go as Robin gets tossed around like a toy. You see the smoke from some unfortunate engines as they take a pretty good blunt force to the front of them.
I do want to take one more on board real quick because I think I might be wrong on this. We're going to have to take a closer look at it for sure, but I think this may be just the caution Sam Boutwell was looking for in more than one way. We mentioned he needed a caution because of his alternate fuel strategy, but I think he might have gotten through this. We're going to take a look on board and make sure, but he's showing fourth on the leaderboard right now.
Well, they just all went down pit road, but oh wow. Yeah, he got really lucky there.
How about that for Sam Boutwell to get through this one unscathed, and it couldn't have asked for better timing either.
Yeah, he's down pit road now with the majority of them, as it looks like Trey Holmes spins around on pit row, actually.
Oh!
I'm sure he didn't want me mentioning that. That's usually something that you hope the announcer never sees, but I got you. So I saw it, and it's saved in time now. But yeah, he spun around a little bit on pit road, but he's back straight. He's just going to lose a few spots, and here at the track, it's not as big of a deal. But I think he just maybe spun the tires coming out of his pit stall there.
Well, let's see. I took the replay just a little too. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick look at this indeed and watch Trey Holmes doing some celebratory donuts on pit road.
Yeah,
We'll go
a
with
little
that.
too early. He's doing good.
Oh, he was
yeah.
doing real good till he hit that left rear on the pit wall. That's not healthy. That's not healthy for the pickup
that's
truck.
not gonna help him.
No. No.
Again, you wish that the announcers never see it, and I'm one of those that I've done that many times where I go, man, I really hope they weren't on me when that happened. But I'm eagle-eyed tonight, I guess. I saw that happen.
The worst is when you're driving, and I'm one of those that even though I can't hear the broadcast, I love to have the broadcast on beside me. So when that happens, as you're taking the tow back to pit road, you look to the left and you watch the accident unfold that you hoped they didn't catch. Yeah. Unfortunately, Trey, we got you. We got you, bud.
Well, back to the wreck. That took out a lot of the headlining guys that all race long that we saw battling me. That took out obviously Robin. That took out Fody. That took out Daniel Martinez. I mean, all those guys were the ones that you saw that seemed to know how to get around here and push, and now they're gone. Now new names pop up. Now you're seeing drivers that have been waiting. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of drivers that just have never raced with us. So it's looking like it's shaping up to be a driver that might be new to Elite, that might be coming out to get a victory. Maybe doing what we saw today in the NASCAR Cup Series. You might be seeing someone like AJ Allmendinger that, just wasn't expected to come out and survive and win the race. So, but a familiar look up there, if you can see, there is a lot of black and green.
A lot of black and green as we get ready to drop the green flag and get back going here with 40 laps to go into Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. I mean, that's why we love this Truck Series 4. Seeing some of these new names, looks like several of them will have a shot to factor into the final 40 laps here. Tyler Dixon leading the way, Sam Boutwell second, William Harrington third, Shane Terrian fourth, Tom Bourne fifth, Bronson Stafford sixth. You've talked about teamwork. Those Sky Motorsports FRN trucks all lined up right next to each other. I'm sure they're going to play a factor in this restart.
As they come to take the green here, it looks like Tyler Dixon still has a relatively clean car or truck. 47 got his lucky break there with that caution and avoided all that wreck, deciding to take the very high line and drop to the back. So maybe he still don't feel comfortable, or maybe he's still trying to catch his breath from that last wreck. But FRN teamwork up there is starting to make the difference as they decide there's enough trucks out of the race that they're gonna go for it.
They're going for it for sure. Shane Terrian leading the way as they come down the Daytona Super Stretch. Bronson Stafford in tow. They're going to drop to the bottom, and they're going to see what they can do to lead a couple of laps here at Daytona. Now it's Ryan Schold leading the outside line with Sam Boutwell just behind him. Definitely intensity already ratcheting up here as we get closer to the end. Oh, Boutwell very squirrely in the tri-oval.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I almost jinxed it there. That look who's right behind him. I thought he was going to be out of the race, but he might have gotten lucky. You got Robin right there. I don't know how much damage he got, or if he got lucky where they just hit him center of the door. I've seen iRacing not give a lot of speed deficit for if a contact made directly to the door. If they just doored him right into the side panel, he might still have some speed to be able to run up here. Who knows? Drafts sometimes can kind of be the crutches for some drivers to where it doesn't really show the damage that it truly has until it's out front. But he's still up there. As you see that outside lane with the 06, served that. He got a lucky dog just not too long ago. Last caution, I believe, previous, he got that lucky dog, and now he's leading the charge on the outside there.
So it does look like, according to scoring at least, Josh Robin is one lap down, but holding speed and right now in that lucky dog position. Definitely the battle for the lucky dog right now between him, Josh Hedges in the 68, Hunter Smith in the 03, So if he can, get a caution without being in it, which easier
That's
said
hard
than
to
done.
Yeah.
Easier said
We've
than done.
seen all the cautions literally come from right where he's at, right up in the front. So if you're trying to avoid the wrecks, up front has not been the place to be. That seems to be right where it's been at. Is he drops down to the bottom behind that number 66 that looks very eerily similar to who is that?
Ooh. So it is William Harrington in the 66, and he came very close to making
Yes.
door-to-door contact with the 06 of Ryan Schold there as they were working their way through to Tri-Oval. I don't know, Josh Robin might mess around and unlap himself the old-fashioned way. He's now got that lead spot on the outside line. Gotta see if he can get a push to the front. We'll see if that works out for him. But lap 63 currently, and Josh Robin trying to make himself a factor in this race once more.
Yeah, he's got nothing to lose at this point. It's either try to get up front and try to see if your truck is still there, or when you got multiple lap down cars back there, you don't want to risk it and wait for another caution just because you were too shy to be up there. So he's getting pushed all the way to the front, so it looks like he still's got some speed there.
Oh, it's definitely still got some speed in that Miller Lite number 8. Hasn't quite pulled out in front to clear Shane Terrian yet. But, oh, the big jump to the outside from the 38, blocking the run. That was a big move, especially on a guy who's not even on the lead lap. But I think that tells you how much of a threat they consider Josh Robin right now.
Yeah, 06 gave him one final shove to let him get down to the bottom, but you've got to be careful with those pushes on the edges of the bumper, especially when the truck's already got damaged and it's already dented in. It can absolutely turn a truck around. So luckily they got around it. He's back down to the bottom. We'll see if he's just going to ride out or if he's just going to decide to be up front again.
Again, lots of really close side-by-side racing. Ryan Schold and Tyler Dixon very close to each other several times there going through the Tri-Oval in turns 1 and 2. I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more of that side drafting come into play as we get closer to the end of this. It's been pretty polite in that regard for most of this race, but manners are about to go out the window.
There's not many manners left whenever there's only a handful of trucks left on the racetrack. But you're seeing the 51 and the 03 starting to work that outside again. Drivers that we truly haven't seen too much in the beginning of this race. It's the 47. I don't know if they filled that back in with gas or helium, but he has been all over the racetrack since he's gotten off that last pit stop. It has been a loose.
And then just a little bit of contact there with Trey Holmes, and that was the 03 of Hunter Smith. Boy, that was really scary there as they were about to enter turn 1. This is getting really intense really fast.
Yeah, I don't know if the temperature went down and it's changed how these trucks have handled, but we're seeing the trucks, especially going in. It just seems they're getting swirly. I don't know if it's just faster speeds from the temperature going down to where they're going with more speed into the turns than they have before, but they just don't seem very stable going in. So that's just another thing for you to have to worry about. But as we see, we got Harrison starting to work that outside right behind the 47. He's just got to be very careful with any kind of bumping if he's going to give him anything.
Yeah, Harrison Talon, a name we haven't spoken a lot about tonight. And to his inside, another name we haven't spoken a lot about, Ryan Barbieri. But he's a winner in this truck series. I remember in particular he won the big dirt debut at the when we covered Bristol in dirt last season with the truck series. We'll be doing that again in a couple of races at Knoxville for the Elite Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. Ryan Barbieri inserting himself into the mix here.
And don't forget, some of those guys in the back there are still holding out. I'm seeing that, Tyler Fody is still in the back there and still has a fairly decent truck, it looks like. I don't see it too bad, so I think maybe he got probably the luckiest out of the leaders that caution came out with. Just didn't get torn up as much, so he's still on the lead lap. I checked that one, but he's still back there. He might just be waiting to see what happens because it is, as you see, the 47 giving a nice shove to the 06 there on the outside to get them toe-to-toe with the leaders now. It's just still early and still scary.
The other thing I think we have to consider here is, I'll admit I have not crunched the numbers on the fuel mileage for these trucks, but I have a hard time believing they're going to be able to go 40 laps on a tank of fuel. It's going to be close, right?
It's going to be fairly close. That might be what some of these guys are in the back are banking on. It's going to be. I think you can. I think you could be able to make it on 40 laps, but it's going to be. I mean, I don't think the leader is obviously full throttle. But I mean, if you get like maybe 5 cars back, those guys are probably right now back there 3/4 or half throttle. Some of those guys might have a better chance of making it, but I think some of the guys in front kind of thinking, just like I am, that I don't think we're done with the yellows.
You don't think it's going to be a fuel mileage race?
I don't think anyone should have been practicing green flag pit stops just as of yet. It's just how these trucks have been. Not that these guys are old. That's some side draft.
I'm telling you, that 06 of Ryan Schold has been not bashful with the side draft while working that outside line. It's been effective for him so far, but I don't know how many more times you can go to the bank and try to withdraw from that account. We'll see how it plays out.
It works until it doesn't. That's just how the thing goes. It works until it doesn't, and then you go, I don't know what happened on that one time, but every time else it worked just fine. And that's how you. That's just how some of these guys think of these things. So yeah, right now he's just kind of he's going for it. So you're just gonna, if it's working for him, he's still out there. Again, that outside line does not have the grouping or the amount of support as the inside line. So, I mean, they're still steadily staying to the relative front. Just hoping for someone to decide to give him a break and help him out there. But yeah, like I said, he's just got to.
Yeah, the inside line starting to surge ahead a little bit. You've got Shane Terrian in that lead truck. Again, that second truck is Josh Robin. He is not on the lead lap, but definitely in the lucky dog position as they sit right now. Bronson Stafford, the third truck in line, is actually your second place runner. And then behind that, you see the side-by-side right now of Tyler Dixon and Ryan Schold. That is for the third position. Coming to the line to start lap 72. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying Robin's just happy where he's at right now. Well, happy in a relative term. He'd rather be on the lead lap up there, but I think he's content where he's at. There's no real gain unless if he gets in front. He's just open to caution, so he can still be able to get up there with these guys. Once again, he has the speed, obviously, to be able to do it. But yeah, like I said, some of these guys are. They're okay with damage in the backpack there because some drafted, but there's not too many of them that are still clean. So I think he still has enough of a truck that he can still work his way through the pack to be able to get back up front if caution does come back out again.
If we do get our caution, something else to keep an eye on in that outside line. We talked about the 06 of Ryan Schold, the 47 Soundbelt. Well, that third truck in line, the green truck, is the 03 of Hunter Smith, and he is another one of those trucks one lap down. If he can ride this wave to the front, he's got to be able to challenge Josh Robin for the lucky dog position. Now, imagine if that battle is unfolding while these guys are battling for the lead as well. This could get really interesting.
Yeah, that will definitely spike the intensity up for the lap cars. If there's more than one guy trying to be up in the front, then they're not going to be satisfied with just riding behind the leader. They're going to try to be in front of the other guy, and that's where it leads to trouble sometimes. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how we can read the 47's numbers on the side. I'm sure he has sideswiped one or two cars with the side of it. Not that it's caused any problems for anybody, but I don't think it really should be looking that clean as it does, because it has been a little bit scary from our position.
And you see now actually that the green 03 of Hunter Smith has dropped to fourth in line. Tyler Fody leapfrogging him. Fody trying to work his way back to the front of the field. Another one of those guys we've seen so often run well here at Daytona. trying to get another big super speedway win in the truck series.
Yeah, Fody's truck, like I said before, it doesn't look like it's that bad. Honestly, out of all the leaders that were involved in that last caution, I think somehow he got off the best in all that, and I don't really know how. I didn't really remember watching, with obviously Robin going in all different directions, where he ended up with that wreck. But yeah, he's picking his way through the field, kind of cutting in and out, and just trying to work his way to getting in front of these guys as again the 06 is side drafting the 46. And,
ooh, big move from Barbieri in the 46 to get in front of Schold. Now he's the man leading the outside line. We'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah, I think the 47's taking a breather. Because the 46 and the 06 are gonna. The 46 still looks like a very clean truck, so I think that's what the 06 has been waiting on, is someone that can get up there and be able to absorb the air in the front, as they just surge to the front now with just the three of them helping. So now we're going to see some racing as drivers. Yeah, you got to be careful with those bumps there.
And right there into tri-oval too. That's where, honestly, that's where these cars get the lightest. No matter what you're driving, that's where it gets really uncomfortable with the push. But they made it work. Ryan Barbieri to the lead, inside of 25 laps to go here in the memory lanes 250 at Daytona. As Jim Ross would say, business is about to pick up.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Even though I'm an owner of one of these teams, I am so thankful I don't have to pay for any of these cars.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
I'd be so. I don't know how Darnhart Jr. does it, because I don't know how he could announce it and just pay attention to other people's vehicles, because I'd just be paying attention to my trucks, just wondering when is it going to get destroyed, because this is it's ramping up every lap as it goes through. People are deciding to want to be up front, as you see Fody finally work his way back from the back to finally be up front once again after that last caution. So I think Fody's just fine to the displeasantness of all the other drivers. So the previous champion is back up there.
Yes, I mean, I think that's 76. Whoa, where Tyler Dixon way off in the grass. I don't know if he got a bad push or what, but he is going to be hanging on for dear life. He's going to keep it on the apron at least long enough for the pack to go by. A good piece of
draft.
Oh, he is. He's definitely looking for a caution now, but a good piece of driving from Tyler Dixon to keep that out of harm's way and avoid certain calamity going into turn 3.
Yeah, luckily it was bright enough; everyone saw it, so no one was uncertain where he was at. That's for sure with that bright pink car. But he's going to be hoping for a caution now, as there's no possible way he's going to be able to get back up here without it. So yeah, and he might get it, because all of a sudden now we're getting some pushing for the front. And as you said, those lap car race for that lucky dog is starting to intensify.
If you look in that outside line, the second truck in line is the 8 of Josh Robin. The third truck in line, with a little bit of gap, admittedly, the 03 of Hunter Smith. That is the lucky dog battle in the midst of these leaders right now, side by side. Tyler Fody, Trey Holmes battling for the top spot as we get closer to 20 laps to go here in the memory lanes 250 at Daytona. And it's only going. I feel we keep saying that, but it's only going to get more and more intense as we get closer to the finish.
Well, one thing we don't see up there is the Zephyrin trucks, and I'd be almost copying them at this point, because they've been psychic with knowing when these cautions are coming out, because they always seem to back out of it right before any of these things start to end up into a crash fest. But they've dropped down to the back for the time being, so maybe there's something up there that they're not quite liking. To be honest with you, pit stops are probably going to be coming up here shortly if they are going to be having to pit, just because they're going to want to pit with a group of drivers and still be able to come out with some speed as this big pack comes around.
I know one thing. I'm not cutting to another onboard, because that would apparently definitely bring out the caution.
Yeah, if you do, try not to do my teammate this time. And not my team truck if you're gonna do it, because last time it didn't work out so well for my team. So
yeah,
maybe one of the other ones.
Checks in the mail, Gerald. Checks in the mail.
Yeah,
sorry about that, bud.
I think it was the student driver thing where you took over partial of the steering wheel. So.
If anybody saw me in the Grand National Series last Monday, you definitely didn't want me driving the car. But anyway, Tyler Fode, Trey Holmes battling for the lead here. Inside of 20 laps to go. And there, I think we just saw the FRN trucks come down pit road. At the very least, they're going to work together to make sure they can draft with each other as they exit the pits. The first takers on green flag pit stops here.
Yeah, what's going to be the determining factor is once those guys get lined up, what kind of lap times are they doing? If they're going faster than this lead lap group, you're going to see more drivers start to come in. But if you see them constantly losing time to the lead group, you're going to see pretty much everyone's just going to wait until the end. They're all going to be watching on the relative to see what kind of lap times those guys are doing. And they're going to judge their strategy based off of how those FRN guys, end up coming back onto the racetrack as.
It does not look like any of the front runners will follow suit, at least this time by starting lap 82, Tyler Fode leading the way. Battle for second behind him, Trey Holmes on the outside into Valvoline 88, Ryan Schold on the inside in the red 06. Ryan Barbieri into 46. Josh Robin, again, that is not a lead lap truck, but up front with the leaders, trying to put himself in position for that lucky dog or unlap himself, or really any way he can find a way into contention for this win in that Miller Lite 8 truck on the outside line behind Trey Holmes.
One thing that's not going to help those FRN trucks is they've not all come out together. They've kind of gotten together now, but that's with some heavy lifting. So that's not in their favor. They're going to desperately hope that a caution comes out and the rest of the people have to come back down pit road, or that they've just got some tremendous speed hooked up together that the pack just can't get with all the side drafting and the battling for the lead. So they're gonna try to see if they can push together, but I just don't think 3 trucks is gonna be equivalent to 20.
That seems to be the pro and the con with green flag pit stops at these super speedways. If you're able to pit with just a couple of guys, it makes getting in pit road a lot smoother and not nearly as dicey as when you have 15 guys all pitting at the same time. But when you get off pit road, if you have that group of 15 or 10 guys that you're working with, it makes it a lot easier to get that draft going again and get up to speed.
Yeah, again, it depends on, obviously, who comes with you. You could be the fastest truck that you all, on single file, but if there's no one with you, you're 10 miles slower than this pack of cars you see in the front up here. So, I mean, coming down pit road is all beneficial as can be, and getting out of the pit road, but with no one with you, it's just it's a parachute compared to what it could be with a group of.
So that last time by, it looks like the FRN trucks were in the neighborhood of 47.7 to 47.9. Right, Tyler Fode the last lap of 48.3. So I mean, it was about a half second a lap quicker, but when you're 30 seconds back, I don't know if that's enough to necessarily draw these guys to pit road unless they absolutely have to pit this late in the going.
Looks like, 49.2 is what Fode just completed, and those guys are absolutely, they're proving me wrong. 3 trucks is absolutely turning out some quick laps. Like I said, this is going to be the determining factor. These 3 trucks, if the rest of the field has to pit down, they're hoping that they leapfrog up front, and if those guys in the front are paying attention, we might see some trucks come down pit road to try to team off and work together, but that's if they have teammates and have help to do that.
Boy, who would have thought, especially after the first half of this race, we might be talking about fuel mileage to close out the Memory Lanes 250. But nonetheless, here we are, again, working lap 86 of 100 in the season opener for the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series under the Elite Racing League's banner. Tyler Fode leading the way. Ryan Schold, Trey Holmes battling for that second spot. For the most part, this lead pack single file with the exception of Trey Holmes. And again, Josh Robin he's just sitting there screaming, I just want to be on the lead lap, guys.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad for him on that. He's got the speed, but unfortunately the luck is just not there right now. So yeah, it makes you wonder what some of these guys are doing. If they're single file and you're seeing literally a truck gapping between some of these people, is it coming down to fuel? Are some of these guys trying to stretch it? The FRN guys felt like they probably couldn't make it, and they came down pit road. But some of these guys back here, like the 66, maybe the 51, the 22, some of these guys back here that have been back here the entire time, that have not led a lap, or have been up front or on the outside where they're wasting a lot of fuel. Have those guys been just strictly focusing on saving fuel? Who knows? There's a lot of things you can do in the back there. So you can go around 1/4 throttle, and with the gapping right now, that's kind of what it's turning out to looking like. Is a lot of these guys are just not really concerned about getting to the back of another truck. They're mainly just making sure that they are close enough to where they can still get the draft. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. If no caution comes out, we may end up seeing a fuel strategy to the end.
Trey Holmes did drop down fourth in line, and man, you mentioned the word parachute earlier, and that's basically what happened to poor Josh Robin. He's falling back well behind what would be around a 10th place spot if he were on the lead lap. Right now he's got actually I'm not even sure who that is he's got behind him. Well, now he's ducked to the inside line, but I'm trying to get an eye on that truck on the outside, because I don't think it's one we've talked about a lot this evening. Maybe Dylan Jones? No?
That's Josh Hodge.
Okay. Josh Hodges, who is another truck one lap down in that 68 on the outside. Good eye on that, sir. So that's unfortunately a setback for Josh Robbins' pursuit of the lead lap. We're pretty much single filing. I'm like you. I think some of this maybe even be fuel saving. Some of it might be guys trying to get to the bottom in case they do have to pit. But this, in all likelihood, is the calm before the storm to settle this season opener.
No, absolutely. Shout out to Josh Hod, though. I love that Texas Pete truck.
Oh, it's a sharp-looking truck for sure.
That's I think there was a NASCAR car that had Texas Pete, and I love me some Texas Pete. that's a good hot sauce right there. So yeah, the good shout out to him. Even if he is a lap down, his truck looks absolutely clean. So I'm not sure what put him down a lap, but he's decided that it's time for him to try to be up front. So yeah, if he's on the outside gaining positions, that's a big indicator that the bottom line is just all fuel strategy. But we are getting some radio calls of people deciding to come down pit road now. So watch as we come out of the turn here. We're going to have some trucks coming down.
We'll definitely keep an eye here to see from that radio communication who will be the takers here as we're down inside of 10 laps to go. I believe that looked like a bunch of them. Tyler Fody, Ryan Barbieri, Ryan Schultz. One truck rocketing to the front there. Was that Chad Thornquist? Yes, with a great pit entry to get to the front there. And we'll see who is able to get off of pit road first. What's basically,
going to be important to see is going to be seeing where those front row guys, if they're not front row, flat out guys, where they're going to be at on the track whenever those guys come down pit road, as they are now passing the finish line, and they may have a big advantage here.
So how about Harrison Talon and Chad Thornquist winning the race off pit road there? Big moves from them. And here come those FRN trucks. You were talking about them. Here comes that with Tyler Dixon in tow, and they're going to be the leaders out of the trucks who have pitted. They're not going to have a huge gap. I think that second pack's going to be able to reel them back in if they work together, but that has indeed made the difference to get that trio out front. And now it looks like Dylan Jones and William Harrington have pitted. Unfortunately, they were the only two that had stayed out. They're going to have to work together to get back out as a truck that was sitting on pit road blew up. No harm, no foul. We'll see how they shake out with the lead pack charging. You can already see the FRN trio coming up.
Yeah, Tyler.
What happened to
Oh,
Tyler pitted?
Yeah, because he had drafted back down to those guys from that previous incident early on when he lost the pack. So he had just finally got it to a group of guys that he could race with, and unfortunately ended up immediately having to pit underneath those underneath that unfortunate business of it. But yeah, those FRN guys right now, they're only thing they're concentrating on is just making sure that they get away from the pack, and they are doing so very, very steadily.
Right now, the gap 4.2 seconds. That may have been, that early pit stop may have been the strategy call that decides the memory lanes 250 at Daytona. Those 3 trucks running nose to tail, and they're going to try to just keep building that gap, hoping they don't get a caution. And it might be between them to decide who wins this one. We'll take a quick look back. I mean, right now, there's your trouble right there. The next truck's in line. There's just 2 of them. Chad Thernquist, Tyler Fody. Behind that, another group of 2 trucks. Trey Holmes. I mean, and Josh Robin. This pack back here just really isn't formed up well enough to form a challenge. And just in the time it's taken me to show some of these runners, that lead has already expanded to more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, as I stated from the very beginning, teamwork at plate tracks here means so much. And when they came down pit road, I think people should have been paying more attention to what times they were doing. It was all going to be dependent on if they were going to be speeding up past this pack or if they were going to lose time. I think very quickly they should have, if they were going to have anything for that lead group there, they should have pitted well before this. But unless some miracle of a caution comes out, I think it's going to be black and green up front for a while here.
It's definitely looking very good for the Sky Motorsports trio there. Shane Terrian leading the way, Bronson Stafford in second, Tom Bourne in third. I'm sure in their team chat right now, they don't really care who's first, second, or third. What they see is that gap between them and Chad Thernquist growing and growing. It looks like that second group has gotten a little bit more help from Trey Holmes and Josh Robin, but still the cards are in the FRN trio's favor for now.
Yeah, they're going to be even getting a tow from a lap car coming back. Scott Dixon coming back onto the track, so they've got plenty of speed to stay in front of that pack, even though it is starting to form back there. You said these guys don't really care. I don't really fully believe that.
Oh, you think? Okay, all right.
When you're the third guy, you don't want to be the third guy. You want to be the first guy. So I'm sure it's all friendly now, but definitely coming around probably turn 4 is when you're going to start seeing friends start to become the next person for you to try to pick off. So. But one thing we've got to notice is they all got yellow stickers on the back. They are all brand new to Elite. I knew these guys, and I knew that they were going to be someone to have to watch for. These guys racing a lot of different leagues together, so they knew a strategy to play. They knew to pit, and that 3 trucks was faster than a group. It's played right to their favor right now.
Right now, those 3 trucks, 5.1 seconds over Chad Thernquist as we're coming to.
Oh no!
Caution, just like that. The advantage gone.
Sure really what a caution was for. Oh, we got the 06 stuck on the middle of the turn right now. Well, he's going to need a backup if he can. Nope. Oh, he's got that axle. Into a. Oh, there he goes.
He got it. This is still alive. We had thrown up the replay graphic, but we will show the 06 getting himself righted, and then we'll find out how he ended up in that predicament with the Elite Racing Network replay here shortly. But that changes a few things. I don't know about everything, but definitely a few things.
As he spun out again, unfortunately. And he's stuck again.
And here we are. It looks like he's in that group with William Harrington and Sam Boutwell. A little bit of contact with the 47 of Boutwell. into the wall, and then he tries to get going again. That's when it gets out from under him. That's what triggers the replay, or the caution, excuse me, as he comes to a stop pretty much in the groove and then is stuck, beached on the apron, if you will.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is going to get an EUL for that, because he definitely looked like he came down onto the 47 trying to clear it, and unfortunately just kind of didn't have quite the room to be able to do such a thing. But this that's a way to make 3 people your enemy real quick, because FRN will not be happy with him for that one.
It definitely ruins what had been a stroke of genius from the strategy standpoint as we look at the contact with the 47 from the suspension cam, and then the kiss with the wall, and the attempt to get away. Unsuccessful.
It may look like he tried spinning himself out again there, but I tell you,
I don't think so.
That's not what it is. When you get on that yellow line right there, it's such an offset of weight, and it just will absolutely turn you around. So it may seem like he did that on purpose, but I can guarantee you that wasn't the case. It was just a situation of he just got his left rear right on that line, and that'll spin you out at 200 miles per hour, let alone at 5. So,
definitely.
He's gonna stay on the lead lap, I believe. There is only 13 trucks on the lead lap right now, so there is a finite amount of people that are going to be going for this.
So right now, Shane Terry in the leader, Bronson Stafford in second, Tom Bourne third, Chad Thornquist fourth, Tyler Fody fifth, Trey Holmes sixth, William Harrington seventh, Sam Boutwell eighth, and then Brent and Dylan Jones, as far as I know, no relation, 9th and 10th. Alec Ballvans in 11th. We see Ryan Schold on pit road, Harrison Talon on pit road as well.
And Ryan Barbarelli, I believe, will be the truck that gets the free pass there. No, I believe, was it him or was it Harris Talon? I got the free pass.
I believe it must have been Talon, as we see he's now exiting pit road. I'm not entirely sure, actually, but
yeah, he is, because they're double following up for the restart. So Harrison Talon got the lucky dog there, so he's going to be back on. It's going to make an even 14 for the final race here for, I believe it will be a green-white checkered, and there in this league is 3 green-white checkers for the Elite Truck Series here.
So this could be far from over, and I believe, okay, no, this will indeed be at least one of those overtimes. I see now that we'll be coming to lap 100 on the on my scoring monitor here. So sure enough, the first attempt at overtime here in the season opener of the Elite Racing League's Old Testament Firearms Truck Series, the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. A chance to say you've won at Daytona in Elite on the line here as we get closer to the end of this one.
Winning Daytona is winning Daytona. It doesn't matter if it's the trucks, the Xfinity, the Cup cars. There's always that special Daytona win. This win will probably be the biggest thing other than winning the championship. And it's the very first race in the year. And it's coming down to a green-white checkered. And it's all in your hands. There's 3 FRN trucks, and by no means does that mean that they're going to win this. They're definitely going to be difficult, but it's still up to anyone that's still in the lead lap in the top 14. So it's all up to this as we come to take the green-white checkered. It's going to be exciting. So hopefully everyone's paying attention to this, because we're about to see something great.
For those unfamiliar with iRacing, if they make it to the white, it'll be a race to the checkered. The caution will not come out on the last lap. The green flag is out. Shane Terrian out front, and that puts those FRN trucks nose to tail on the bottom line. They're going to try to use that teamwork once more.
Yeah, Fody's going to be the one to watch. I think he's going to try to jump to the outside once he clears Chad there. And, yep, there he goes right there. So he's going to hopefully try to get some more takers up there. Pretty sure most people see all the green and black on the bottom there, so they know their fate's going to either be trying to team up against them or end up just following behind them.
So far, no takers. Tyler Fode dropped back to the bottom. I think he's going to try one more time probably here as we come to the right white flag. Chad Thornquist is up there. He's going to try to make something happen as well. White flag is out. We're going to get a finish here in the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona.
Chad's going to give him a good push where we're going to see if it works out for them. It's going to be on that back straightaway. That's where that outside line is going to have its run. As Chad Thornquist is right on the back of Fode. Fode's going to have a great run coming out of the backstretch. It's all up to if they can get that run, if they can get side by side with him as the 38 jumps to the high side. Oh, that forced Fode to the third line with no one helping him. That's going to leave the bottom, the 61 and the 33, out to Joe. The 38 took a bullet for his team there to block off the high side as they wreck him behind him.
Huge wreck behind, and now Trey Holmes together with William Harrington. It's going to be the two FRN. Here comes Thornquist. Not quite. Oh, man.
So close.
What a finish. And at the line by 25 hundredths of a second, Tom Bourne in the number 31 taking the win in the Memory Lanes 250. Bronson Stafford second. Chad Thornquist tried to make the outside move, comes home third. Shane Terry in fourth. Brent Jones in fifth, somehow coming out of that unscathed.
He's a Panther, man. He sneaks up on you. He'll take it at those ends. It always makes you wonder, where did he come from? And he ends up in those front positions. Can't be upset with the number 31, obviously. That's my number in Cup winning it. Good to see a 31 run well at Daytona here. As a great finish for the FRN group, 1, 2, and 4. And Chad Thornquist being the only spoiler up there. He tried it there at the end to try to make it 3 wide, but just wasn't enough speed to get him there. It was a great finish at the end.
I think we're about to see just a little bit of a celebration here.
Team celebration.
Yes, here at Daytona. What a finish. What a race. As Tom Bourne begins his donuts here at the start-finish line at Daytona, we will take a look at the results of this event, the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. Your top finisher, of course, Tom Bourne. Bronson Stafford second, Chad Thornquist third, Shane Terry in fourth, Brent Jones fifth, William Harrington sixth, Trey Holmes seventh, Alec Balvins eighth, Harrison Talon ninth, Tyler Dixon rounding out the top 10. Tyler Fode coming home 11th, Ryan Scholl 12th, Sam Boutwell 13th, Dylan Jones 14th, Josh Robin 15th, Hunter Smith 16th, Josh Hodges 17th, Eshawn Dura in 18th, Scott Crump 19th, Ryan Barbieri in 20th. 21st, Chad Frankenfield, Wyatt Nadel 22nd, Michael Goodman 23rd, Mark Keeler 24th, Ethan Burrell 25th, Daniel Martinez 26th, James Sauls 27th, Hunter Firestone 28th, Benjamin Ruprak 29th, Rishabh Kozla in the 30th position. As we'll let the remaining finishers scroll through, and we're going to bring in our third place finisher real quick here. Chad Thornquist breaking up the Sky Motorsports party to finish third here in the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. Chad, first off, congratulations on your third place finish. What was that green-white checkered like, buddy?
It was kind of unique, I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that we were going to have a chance to get up to him, and me and Fode were just going to run 4th and 5th. And then I get somehow lucky, which I'm usually not. But the green-white checkered, it was a different one for sure. I'm surprised everyone raced it clean, and I was just, compared to the rest of the race, I wasn't taking any prisoners. I just needed to go for it. Luckily I did, and it worked out.
I had a question for you. Were you just going to stay behind Fode all the way up to the finish line, or were you waiting to see if you guys were going to be able to clear to make a move on Fode, or were you just deciding on just trying to play spoilers to those FRN group guys?
I was more or less focused on pushing Fode to the win because I knew if I didn't, then I was going to have a lower finishing position. But when he got caught up in the 38's mess, then that's when I decided I got to go for it. And it almost worked. Almost.
If it was Talladega, I think you might have gotten him. If it was that finish line was just a little farther down the racetrack, I think you had the speed to do it. But at least you were able to get side by side to get a 3 wide finish. It was very good for you. What was your strategy for all the wrecks and everything? Were you one of those that just tried to stay in the back, or was it just all pure luck for you tonight?
Um, I'd say the first two big ones that happened, I was staying in the back trying to mind my P's and Q's, which worked. And then that one right through the tri-oval, I had no idea it was coming because everyone looked really organized. And I just got on the brakes in time. So my strategy was just stay in the back, see how things play out. And then around maybe 30 to go, that's when I started making moves, getting my way up to the front.
Oh, so as far as obviously a very good start to the season, a third place and everything, you're running for the full points series this season. Do you see this as something that could be the deciding factor of making it into the chase, with obviously so many people running for it this year, and only having a limited amount of starts to try to get in there?
It's definitely different compared to my first two starts. The first season that I ran in trucks, I DNF'd out of the 250, and then the second season I was in as a sophomore, I didn't even compete because I was over in Daytona at the actual racetrack. But I think it's really important to start off on a good note, like I just did, getting points in both stages and getting a top 3. So I feel like I'm going to have a good season.
Excellent. Well, we'll be watching for you.
Chad, before we let you go, of course, we definitely want to give you the chance to thank everyone who made this podium finish possible for you.
Thank you to Majors Garage and Ugami for both being my sponsors, new partners to the team, and thank you to Rishav Kosla for actually putting me on Inferno Racing and being able to get this result for him.
All right, congratulations again to Chad Thernquist. Have a good night.
You too. Hopefully I'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed. Well, actually, he won't see me next week. That's neither here nor there. I'm sure somebody will be here in 2 weeks' time when the Elite Truck Series has its throwback race at Darlington. I will be in Oxford, Maine, at the Oxford 250. But I'm sure somebody will be here at the Elite Racing Network the next time the trucks are on track. As now we'll bring in the second place finisher, Bronson Stafford, bringing home one of those 3 FRN Toyotas with a podium finish. Bronson, I mean, what else to say but the strategy to get out front and then to hold off the pack on that green-white checkered restart. What was that race like for you guys?
Yeah, the whole time was just kind of wild from start to finish with the draft and the pack, but we played the good strategy of getting out of it with pitting by ourselves, and we're able to kind of work it ourselves with just the 3 of us. And for the couple laps, we had the 4th truck. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. In all honesty, speed racing is always a lot of fun. So
I had a question for you. Did you guys practice and knew what kind of speed you guys would have, just 3 of you out there? Because that was a relatively bold move to predict that you guys were going to have the speed that the pack just wasn't producing, to be able to work yourself out front, because it could have easily gone the other direction, where if that pack gotten sped up, you guys would have been out to lunch real far behind them. Was that something you guys knew ahead of time going into it, that you knew how fast the pack was compared to just 3 of you lined up?
No, not really. We kind of just do it every super speedway, no matter the car. Like we've done it in the Cup and Xfinity. It has bitten us sometimes, but it didn't tonight, so we'll take that. But honestly, yeah, it's just something we always try to do. We always work the race backwards, like almost people run road courses, and it usually works out more often than not. But sometimes the draft package it's very strong to have more cars or trucks in a pack, and so it kind of worked out that we were okay with just the 3 of us over the pack of 10, 15.
What was the chat like for you guys whenever that caution came out there at the end? Was it kind of like, oh, that's expected, or what was the mindset going into there? Did you guys have a plan for that restart to hopefully try to have all 3 of you line up to where you guys could still dominate and kind of just control the field there at the end?
Ideally, we always you try not to think about a yellow coming out. You hope it stays green, especially when you have a 5-second lead on the rest of the field. But if a yellow does come out, you'll normally see we can try and navigate it. And the nice thing is we work top 3, leader pick the line, get the top, second place holds back a little bit, leader jumps down, gets low, and then the 3 of us are back in the line, able just to push to the end pretty much, especially on a 2-lap shootout. So you never think about a yellow, but if it does, you always do have a backup plan ready to go, and it worked out.
So were you content running third, or were you waiting to try to play your cards where, even though you were teammates, when was the teammate card thrown out of the book? Was it coming out of turn 4, or was it earlier than that?
Our general rule is white flag, do whatever you need to if we have the gap. So with the gap that we had, white flag, you probably would have seen us 3 wide off of 4.
Well, we saw 3 wide. It just so happened to just be 2 of you.
Yeah. No, it was just a lot of fun. So
Before we let you go and bring in your teammate and tonight's winner, Bronson, who do you have to thank tonight?
Definitely Shane and Tom worked really, really well. It's our first race in the league tonight. We're trying to make the push for the Cup Series so we can go race with some other friends that we know that have been here for a couple years now. But really just all that elite, OT Firearms, all that stuff that let this happen. You guys doing broadcast, all that stuff with the Elite Racing Network. I know we had competing on the cars, but I think it's all in good fun at that point. It's all good fun at that point, but just really everything that makes it happen. So it's always a lot of fun, and obviously Chad letting us in and in the last couple weeks and whatnot, because I think it came about pretty rushed, but we were here and able to get it done. So.
Well, congratulations again, Bronson, and look forward to seeing you and the entire quote-unquote competition in the FRN team in 2 weeks' time at Darlington.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you. So that was Bronson Stafford.
My mic's still open. Can you not be a dick, please?
There we go. And Tom Bourne, your winner in the Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona, now joining us. Tom, congratulations on the win. What was that green-white checkered like from your perspective?
That honestly, we were just kind of focused on getting the all 3 trucks back in line and seeing if we can control the last lap and a half and duking them out amongst themselves. We were trying to just make sure it was, like I said, down to ourselves and everything. And sorry, emotions are going very high right now. So Shane ended up blocking the outside, which in turn Bronson ended up blinking just a tad bit. And right when he came back, I was right to his back bumper, and that just shot us forward. And, right when coming out of turn 4, jumped to the outside. The 92 actually jumped to the outside first. I got in front of him, gave me the push, and, got me ahead first. It was a good finish, though.
Oh, no, it was a great finish. So do you really think Shane just kind of took a bullet for you guys, just jumping up to the high side there, or do you feel like he felt like that outside line was going to give him enough run to still be competitive? It definitely looked like when you guys were on the bottom there, when you guys were hooked up, you guys were just stout, just had the speed. So it was quite shocking whenever he jumped up there and obviously left their group. It worked out favorably for you, but do you feel like he kind of took the bullet for you guys to make sure you guys got that team victory?
Oh, absolutely. He literally said, going down the backstretch, going down to 3, he's like, I did this so we could get the win. I'm like, all right, thanks, I guess. I don't know how to answer that, but all right. We all 3 of us thought that outside lane was going to give us a problem. And it kind of was the entire race. Nobody could really stay hooked up on the bottom for more than a lap or 2. And that's when the outside lane started forming. And Shane, honestly, if I was in his situation, I would have done the exact same thing. We're all a team. You know what? At the end of the day, as long as the team comes home with the trophy, who cares wherever else we finish?
Well, you guys did come home with a trophy. You guys came home first, second, and then 4th. So obviously a good run for your team. You guys are running the full season, correct?
Yes, we are going to be here the full Truck Series season.
Do you honestly feel like your teammates are probably going to be one of your toughest competitors?
Oh, absolutely. They always are. And I've raced with Shane and Bronson for, I want to say, over 10 years now, whether it was on console racing or on here. And, I'm always finishing behind them. So it kind of feels good to get one over on them.
Well, one thing you can let them know is that you're locked into the chase. So you are in. They still have some more racing to do to try to get themselves locked in, but you are in, sir. You're going to be racing for a chase. Is now your goal just to try to go out there and score stage points and try to get more bonus points, or are you going to start looking at the future races in the chase?
It's kind of a little bit of both. I'm definitely going to try and get as many stage points as possible to help me in that playoff scenario. But I also want to enter the chase in leading the points and everything. So we're gonna go all out, knowing that I have I basically this rest of the season's a mulligan until the end of the regular season. We're gonna try some different things, different strategy calls. 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires, whatever. And just see what works and see what goes on, and maybe we apply it to next season or later in the season.
Well, one thing I can tell you with being an elite driver for many years here now with them is that the Daytona victory travels with you. Whenever they mention Daytona victories, that's one of the few things that they keep track of, no matter what series you go into or what racing league you decide to go into next, is that Daytona, you are a Daytona victory champion. And so you got that to be proud of. Obviously, you got some good teamwork there at the end. You guys knew what to do. So congratulations to you. Is there any shout outs you want to give out? Team orders or anything like that you want to let everyone know about? Obviously, as a champion, this is your time to shine.
Well, I mean, you guys kind of saw the team orders on the track already. So, but yeah, I just want to thank FRN for being on the car. Sky Motorsports for coming back and, bringing me back on. You guys for broadcasting and, the Old Testament Firearms for coming on board for this series. I want to thank my girlfriend, Kira. She's always watching. She ended up falling asleep during this broadcast, so I'm going to go yell at her tomorrow. But, yeah, so, and everyone that puts on this league, Chad and all the other admins and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll be talking to you guys again soon.
I think that's more Zach and I's fault for her falling asleep than anything, but just
that's probably a sign. That's probably a sign.
Yeah. Listen, Gerald. Okay, you are very entertaining, and you are too, Zach. All right, don't cut yourself short.
Well, congratulations to you. I'm glad to see it number 31 in Victory Lane. That's what I always run. So
I remember.
Yeah, I let you have it tonight, and I'm glad to see that it's out there, still running well. Other than that, like I said, hopefully we see you in the Elite more often, and it's good to see you out there. And hopefully you can take this victory and try to work it all the way up through the chase and see if you can become an elite champion.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try. If not me, then hopefully my teammates.
But congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so that concludes the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Do want to take a quick moment before we go off the air here and show the schedule as we move forward in the 2021B Old Testament Firearms Truck Series season. Of course, 2 weeks' time, the throwback race, the Darlington 200. Then it's off to Knoxville, Texas, Bristol, the street circuit at Chicago. That one will definitely be an interesting one for these truck drivers. And then to close out the regular season, Charlotte and Iowa before we begin the chase. 12 drivers go into that semifinal round at Las Vegas, Fontana, and Martinsville before the finale. 4 drivers battling for a championship at Atlanta. Atlanta always producing such great racing here in Elite. And of course, while we will have a week off with the Truck Series next weekend, we have tomorrow night the SMRI Productions Grand National Series going to Homestead Miami Speedway. And of course, Wednesday, the Cup Series in action at Loudon. And I know we're both looking forward to those, Gerald, being able to get back into driver's seat and compete in those events. But it was pretty fun calling the action at Daytona and not having to stress being in the big one for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's great to actually watch the whole race without having to push the escape key to get off the racetrack. So a little different than my Speed Weeks has gone so far. So it was a lot more enjoyable so far with you up in the booth and everything. So yeah, we leave Daytona the final race that we've had for obviously the Elite Speed Weeks. Great racing. The trucks did not disappoint like we thought. They were just fantastic as always. Great draft package. Great competitors out there. A lot of different names coming and going. And obviously, you saw a group of guys that are just getting into Elite that you're obviously going to see more of. So this is a great time for these drivers that are new to Elite to give the young blood and come up and make the drivers like me have to push harder. Faster and faster guys are coming in, and obviously this is where you're going to see them at first is in this truck series. So it's going to be an exciting season to see who really who these drivers are in our league. So it's great to see, and can't wait to watch it all play out.
An exciting start to what will undoubtedly be an exciting season here in the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. Again, want to thank Old Testament Firearms, C2 Freight, Blue Egg Marketing, Memory Lanes Bowling for being a part of tonight's event. Again, thank you, Gerald, for joining me in the booth tonight. A little bit last minute, late notice, but I think we had a good time. I enjoyed it. And again, be sure to tune in 2 weeks' time at Darlington for the next chapter of the Truck Series here in the Elite Racing League. Thank you to all the fans who have tuned in tonight.